Welcome back to the Mel K Show. I am Mel K, and I'm coming to you live from Manhattan, January 18th, 2021, with my partner, Rob Reilly. How you doing, Rob?
I'm great. I'm excited today, Mel. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very positive. I think we are off to a good start to a great week. How's it going there in the Manhattan apocalypse?
Well, New York is off to a great start to the year. We're 100 in the first 10 days of the year. We're up 125% in our murders.
Yep.
Cuomo is blaming everything wrong on Trump, and these guys just can't get out of their way. But I don't really think that's important now. I think there's bigger picture here. I just came across this recording, George Stephanopoulos interviewing the head of the National Guard here in D.C., and I want to play it. I'm not going to put it on screen just because we're really bad with tech, but I want people to listen to this. It's about 30 seconds, okay? And I'd love to get your reaction.
Okay, I'm listening carefully.
Commanding General of the District of Columbia National Guard. Major, thank you for joining us this morning. Can you start out by saying what the current threat level is? Do you have what you need in place to counter it?
Good morning, sir. I do believe we have everything. If I can first say happy holiday for Dr. Martin Luther King, and please allow me to say how proud I am of the almost 25,000 National Guardsmen who have come in from all 50 states and territories to help support the Secret Service and the police departments with a peaceful transition of military power. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for that, sir.
I
Did you
know
hear
what
that?
you heard.
Did you hear that?
Heard, I sure did. You heard him say the peaceful
transition to
military
power. You want to hear it again?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And Stephanopoulos doesn't even respond with, "What do you mean, sir, military power?" Go ahead. Yeah, let's hear it again.
General William Walker, the Commanding General of the District of Columbia National Guard. Major, thank you for joining us this morning. Can you start out by saying what the current threat level is? Do you have what you need in place to counter it?
Good morning, sir. I do believe we have everything. If I can first say happy holiday for Dr. Martin Luther King, and please allow me to say how proud I am of the almost 25,000 National Guardsmen who have come in from all 50 states and territories to help support the Secret Service and the police departments with a peaceful transition of military power.
You don't say.
Mm-hmm.
God bless America.
Well,
God bless the military. Sounds like we are right on track with the plan.
it could be. Look, you never know.
God
But
willing. God
it's
willing.
what do we do here? We look at data points. We
course,
keep our eyes and ears open.
Yeah, I know, but one sec. I just back to that because that's very exciting to me. Because that guy's not messing up. Okay, that guy's the real deal. He didn't say that by accident. He didn't slip up and say smooth transition to military power. He didn't say smooth transition to the new administration. And George Stephanopoulos was a PR guy and then Clinton's chief of staff, but he knows better. If he's a real journalist, why didn't he say, "What do you mean military power?" See that? That's if you ask me, because I'm so sick of the propaganda and these phony CIA-backed journalists that are against the people. Why didn't Stephanopoulos say, "What do you mean, sir?"
Right. Well, that's because he didn't know how to answer that question.
Right, just like this morning when Cuomo was asked about the vaccines and he goes right to Trump. It's like, what? They came to you. Everyone knows. Anyway.
So, Mel, let's talk a little bit about if, in fact, this is what we think it is, which is the peaceful transition to military power. Let's talk a little bit about how that might look as it relates to the provisional government, FEMA, Northcom. I think there's a Sullivan Act in there as well that drives some of this. We've been talking.
I'm not sure. What I do know is we spent the weekend in DC and we talked to quite a few National Guards, and I felt the exact same way, that they were getting ready to transition to an interim government by the military, run by basically FEMA, who were in an emergency situation. We have been honestly, since the war on terror never ended, but certainly for the entire COVID time, which makes a lot of acts that wouldn't normally be high treason. And I've been following the plan and the government and the military intelligence for 3.5 years myself. So this is exactly what we expected. And basically, when the DHS secretary stepped down and the head of FEMA stepped up into acting DHS secretary, and Chris Miller is acting defense secretary, and this guy's running the National Guard, they're all aligned on the same page. This is not about any kind of virtual faux inauguration of a traitor of America. And these people are, most of these military men, a lot of the generals are retired. They've been doing this since the JFK murder. And I'll tell you right now, this is just about the most exciting thing I've heard so far.
They also on Saturday, the Secretary of Defense, acting Secretary of Defense, ordered the NSA to install Mike Ellis as the top lawmaker at the NSA. Right. And I guess it sounded like there may have been some pushback from Nagasone. Is that how you spell it?
Yeah.
Nagasone,
At this point, everyone's revealing themselves. Everyone has to pick a side. Everything's out there. As you and I discussed earlier, not only did the Radcliffe information come out, the D class that leads to Trump, which I already thought he did, enacting the 2018 foreign interference executive order, plus also the FEMA emergency order, which FEMA actually is more powerful in an emergency than the House or Congress or Senate or anyone in DC, including the president, basically. So, now we got this. And like I told you over the weekend, I got some information sent to me. It's very interesting because I get things sent to me because I guess, whatever, it's always interesting. But what I got this weekend is crazy. And I know it's top secret. And it's that this weekend, Langley, Virginia's CIA headquarters were, it looks like, raided. And a lot of the Marine that sent this said that they retrieved a lot of evidence implicating very well-known politicians of embezzlement, election rigging, identity fraud, assassination plots, murder, domestic terrorism, pedophilia, and a host of other things. And when I was going through it, I saw some real big stuff. But the CIA headquarters, they say, was raided and neutralized, and $35 trillion of the U.S. Treasury embezzled funds were recovered. About 100 trillion that had been embezzled by the Bushes and Clintons alone. It also said Trump is releasing the JFK files that prove that George H.W. Bush called for the murder of JFK, and JFK's autopsy photos were falsified and he was shot from the front. Crazy, crazy stuff. It also says that Hillary Rodham Clinton has ordered the murders through domestic assassination squads of several people. I won't name names, but I'll just give you 5 that we've already talked about: Ron Brown, William Colby, Vince Foster, and JFK Jr.
Wow.
It also said that they found they got the evidence. They got evidence that California Rep. Adam Schiff and ranking member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, and Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, former White House Chief of Staff and Mayor of Chicago, are both assets of the Mossad.
So let me ask you a question. That's a pretty.
The biggest one is next, and then we can go because this is the clincher.
Right.
They got evidence in files that Barack Obama was in fact born in Kenya, and the former president has committed identity fraud and high treason and should be arrested for identity fraud alone.
Right.
And
so
there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot. That's a lot there. So what's your confidence? What's your confidence level on the source and just in general? I mean, obviously it's information.
The level on the source is very high, but it also could be, there's been so much misinformation that this could be like my dream come true.
Right.
so I'm not sure. It could be total hopium. I mean, listen, at this point, you know how many people I talk to now. People reach out to me. I also have very good friends that are very high up. We spent the weekend with some in DC. You know, I'm very close with Dr. Charlie Ward and a lot of other people that are trying to get to the bottom of this stuff. So I've been blessed with getting a lot of information, but at this point, there's also within the good group, within the white hats and the alliance, there's traitors coming out left and right. Who knew McConnell was going to, well, I knew, but I mean, like, we're starting to see people show their true colors. And, you know, a lot of this is, I hope, I mean, this is stuff that I've heard for 2 decades, a lot of it.
Right.
But they're saying that when they infiltrated the CIA, what it's saying here is they removed dozens and dozens of files and computers and all kinds of stuff. Because after I got this morning, then I went through trying to verify it on other places. And the CIA vault has a lot of this stuff already online that anyone can go and access. So I'm not surprised. But it looks like here, there's no coming back. There's so much more in this. And as soon as it can be put out there, I'm sure it will. But it's basically everything that we learned in the last 3.5 years on the military back channel intelligence program. But also, I mean, we're talking about 20 years, almost 40 years of revealing serious crimes that in a lot of our hearts we knew about. You know, I'm happy for the great Kathy O'Brien, who testified in front of Congress about Cheney and HW and the child trafficking and all of that stuff, because it looks like they got a ton of evidence on that, which is the worst of the worst, which is why I believe Donald Trump ran to begin with. So look, it could be the most exciting piece of paper that's not real, or it could be the best thing that could have ever happened to our country just in the nick of time. But of course, we know it's not just in the nick of time, because Trump knows how to do the art of war. But pretty huge stuff. And then followed up with DNI Radcliffe coming out. There is no doubt China interfered with our election and our CIA covered it up, which then gave them the impetus this past weekend to go into CIA headquarters and raid it, because they got proof that the CIA worked with China to throw the election. As we know, I call the CIA the communist in America. I stole that from Jason Q. And this is really what's happening. Most people don't know that the Chinese Communist Party put out a statement that they won the election in America. So, you know.
I mean, we've been watching all the markers, you know, the post 40, is it 4041? You know, red 1, red 2,
yeah,
red
no,
3.
It's 4414. Yeah,
4414.
you did a great one on that the other day. Right.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, so a lot is happening now. If someone says nothing's happening, there's a lot happening. We were in DC. It's clearly, you know, set up, you know, with a major military presence. There's clearly, you know, massive barricades. You know, it's a fortress.
Yeah,
and
they're building
people,
something there.
Yeah,
it's not
they
just, are. It's not just. It is absolutely not protection for a virtual inauguration of a traitor who is a CCP plant into our government. And like Rob and I've said, and many other people, I saw it on a bunch of other guys' shows, but we were there in person. Now they like walls in DC, I guess. But that the barbed wire that's being put up, and it's hardcore stuff, it's put up like around a prison, and it's surrounding the Capitol building and whatever the heck they're building on the lawn right there. But
well, look,
God willing, this is for military tribunals, and that because military tribunals are not trials. They are when they do a military tribunal, they already have the evidence, and your choices are very slim. So, you know, and also anyone who voted for the election, they already knew. Everyone was already aware of the voter fraud, because quite frankly, Obama set it up before he left office. And that Iran deal, half that money went to all of these. It's 6 countries that are implicated, and then about a dozen of our politicians. And sadly enough, it should come out, but a bunch of people that we believed were on our and Trump's side are involved. So it's pretty huge. And it is, we have every right. Trump did everything by the book. He followed the Constitution. He gave everyone a chance to save themselves. But the people that didn't, I will say, probably can't, because there's so much blackmail and bribery and disgusting stuff. And like I've said the whole time, in America, all roads lead back to the CIA, thanks to Dulles and H.W. Bush. And, you know, their time is up. Their time is up. And I just say thank you to Martin Luther King and JFK. They sacrificed their lives, and they were both, I believe, murdered by the CIA. So we shall see going forward. But it's a good day for this to happen on Martin Luther King's birthday.
Absolutely. And we're seeing a lot of, I mean, Trump and the administration is not acting in any way, shape, or form that would indicate that,
They're going.
they're getting into their camper and doing a cross country tour of
Right.
our parks. So we saw that Huawei and Intel and Samsung were in the news. So
Yeah.
we're fighting back on the information war there.
Yep.
There was a big explosion that we
This is
saw.
weird.
That was
Right.
weird.
Who are we? We are the news now, Rob, I think. Because nobody reported on this, and it's totally crazy. So you said to me, did you hear about the explosion in, where is it? It's
It's
Sterling,
Virginia. I think it was
Right.
Saturday
And I
afternoon or
said-
evening.
And we were actually in DC, and remember we were driving, you were like, look at all that fire over there. Maybe it was the same, maybe it wasn't. Because the reason it got evacuated today was the homeless camp that Ann told us about. And we were like, we don't want to go anywhere near there. But this is a different fire. So anyway, you told me that. And then I said no. And then you sent me the link. And then I said to you, what's around there? And I looked. It is almost, look, Rob, right? It is almost like the breakdown of where the bomb went in Nashville. If you look at where this hit. So Sterling, Virginia, I didn't know, is a giant data center. And the data centers there are China Telecom, and I mean giant, huge data centers. And anyway, this firebomb that the guy describes it of coming out of the sky, just like people in Nashville on the scene described it. This wasn't reported in the local news. It caused a huge fire, and then it's an explosion. And they said that the explosion was a propane tank. But then if you look at where it happened, what's the company, Rob?
Sybase. It
Right.
was across the street. So evidently there was like an abandoned farmhouse with a propane tank that exploded across the street from a Sybase data center, which is where they collect information.
Now owned by SAP, the German company.
Yeah,
the biggest
SAP.
data miner in the world, right?
Yes.
Data centers in the planet.
Yep.
And SAP just where this firebomb happened, and it looked like there was a lot of damage, but it wasn't reported really on the news. Excellent find, Rob. But it turns out, just like the Nashville fire, that this SAP center right across the street, no, it's actually right, it's 0.2 miles from where the explosion occurred. Okay. And this SAP center, it is also, it owns, it's very involved with a lot of stuff, but they just went into a partnership with Apple and Microsoft in 2019. They said that they're going to embrace Microsoft and partner with Apple for better cloud communications going forward. So this place in the middle of quote unquote nowhere, a giant data mining park in Sterling, Virginia, gets hit by what looked like a firebomb from the sky and an explosion on the ground. Looks very similar in the video to me to what happened in Nashville. And then you find out that this Sybase that is where it hit is owned by SAP, who's all connected to this, and then connects back to Amazon and to some of the companies involved in the election fraud. Unbelievable.
Yeah. So is it the white hats striking out? Is it the bad guys trying to get rid of evidence? Is it a false flag to turn our attention away from, what was going on in D.C.?
Well, it's not a false flag, or we'd know about it, because they're
Right.
doing false flag is they use them to manipulate the public at sometimes killing people or whatever they have to do. No, this was hidden from the news. This is something to do with whatever servers are being handled there, in my opinion. It just looks too similar to what happened in Nashville. And the other thing is this area in Sterling has basically all the data centers, like biggest ones in America. And this should have been in the news no matter what. I mean, it's crazy how much is going on right there. And then on top of that, this SAP is also partners in Project Red and the Clinton Global Health Initiative and the Clinton Global AIDS Initiative. When I hear that, I think of the human trafficking ring, because both those programs are connected with that. There's also a huge blood center right next door, scarily enough. all I'm saying is I know this sounds all far out, but this story about this explosion at Sybase/SAP in Sterling is very, very, very similar to the explosion next to the AT&T data center and all those other data centers in Nashville.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there.
I'm sorry,
in the
I'm very
meantime-
excited because I felt like
I know.
we figured that out. I mean, we might be totally wrong, but all I gotta say is that it sounds like that would have been a news story for sure, and it wasn't.
But we do know that the election is going on. We're going to have a lovely virtual election surrounded by razor wire and impenetrable forces. All the prisons are locked down,
Is
right?
that
You mentioned
weird,
that.
though? What do you
Isn't
make
that-
of that? What?
I just think they, you know,
Most
they're
of the
to,
people in prison, aren't they the people that voted for Biden? Weren't they trying to get Biden votes and stuff?
I just think the more that
They scare us.
the more that they can kind of like lock down, if you will, or or create, get people in one place, just shut it down so that, because there's stuff that's going to be happening and they don't want any distractions,
So weird. They have to shut down. They have to lock down federal prisons from the inside. They must not be doing a very good.
Right. The other thing I thought that security situation where Biden hired this group called Checkmate
Oh,
Security.
Why
for
would you need outside security? We have the best military on the planet, and the incoming president, who's the most popular president ever,
Right.
needs outside
80 million votes.
security to protect him, while there's also 20,000 National Guard in town. What is that about?
I don't know, but it cost $7.5 million. So someone got well paid for that day.
We the people of the United States taxpayers paid for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that goes along with, he's never going to be president. He can't, he's a traitor, but I'll go, but we'll play along for a minute. But then I hear, we should really watch out, Rob, because AOC, is back. She has a new squad member, Cori Bush, who seems to think that anyone that was put to death for horrible crimes that went through the entire trial and were tried by a jury of their peers, found guilty, and then were entitled to decades of appeals, and finally were put to death, that they were murdered. And she has a new campaign called Say Their Names, about these vile criminal, some of them rapist murders, children murders. She wants us all to say their names now too. So I guess the NFL is going to start painting their names on the walls at their stadiums too. Meanwhile, some people are fighting back because the victims here don't matter at all to this Cori Bush. She wants to. She's the new one on the squad. She wants to end not only police forces and have community organized police forces like Obama suggested, which are UN police forces, but she also would like to get rid of prisons.
Yeah.
So, not only does she think that people that are tried by a jury of their peers for mass murdering 7 people in a family should be rewarded with their names being in lights and remembered, while the victims, whatever. But now, on top of that, AOC is putting in a bill to get more funding to deprogram white people.
Yeah, there's a lot to be done there because, I am very confused and I could use a little deprogramming.
Everyone's confused, but here's the thing. So she comes out, this very privileged young girl who, came from, grew up in Westchester or wherever, that nice area, went to BU, like you went to BU, of course you got an education. She wanted to be, I guess, I don't know what, she seems like an actor to me, but who knows? And now she's coming out and saying that white supremacy is so bad, so awful, that she needs to have so much more money into bills so that they can help people that are currently radicalized after 4 years of Donald Trump. And she says that they need to have camps, and she needs to clear the misinformation bubble. And she just goes on and on about how the white people need to be re-educated and they need to learn about the truth, and that we're having too much misinformation. And she wants to figure out ways to rein in the media to stop disinformation. Okay, this is so crazy.
Yeah, but that's why they're trying to
I know, I'm sorry. We had a black president for 8 years. Where were they then?
Yeah, well, they're trying to deplatform now OAN and Newsmax, which, Look,
It's not even they, it's CNN.
right.
CNN has the balls to come out there after all they've done to this country. They're so guilty of crimes against humanity, in my mind, mentally, emotional, psychological crimes. But now they're coming out and they want to take down the competition that has a different point of view.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's, communist socialist thinking. If you don't agree, then you're not needed. But we do want a lot more people from Guatemala here, and there's evidently another caravan on the way. Although I guess it
think
was shut
Guatemala
down.
just stepped up and shut it down. It was from
Yeah.
Honduras too.
Right.
Remember, Trump made a deal with them and gave them money. So since the military is taking over, they sure as hell better do what they said they were going to do, because that's not going to happen. But imagine, it's there's really a ton of evidence, and Rick Grenell said it yesterday, that Joe Biden, if he's even still with us, is not with us. He is not making the calls here. He is completely owned by the CCP and whoever else. And a lot of people say that the person behind the scenes making these calls is deep state swamp creature, unbelievable, constant liar, and very, I believe, deep down, nefarious, dangerous woman, Susan Rice. Grenell said it yesterday, and Maria Bartiromo, that he believes that people who's making the moves right now, all of these policies, these crazy cuckoo policies that Biden keeps putting out there, are really from Susan Rice. And he has a good point. He said, look back at Biden's 47 years. This Biden would never have done any of the things he's saying now, never. So either he's being completely controlled by the CCP and Obama and Susan Rice, or that's not him. There's really no middle ground, or that's like just a compromised, total like dummy. But anyway, so the other thing is, there's plenty of proof, as you and I already discussed, that the riot at the Capitol was not only planned, it was paid for. The money trail is going back to George Soros's son. Unfortunately, the guy who really ran the show over there and was caught on camera, and also happened to be right where the girl was shot and film it. Also, by the way, there was a CNN news person with a camera embedded with John Sullivan, is his name, of Insurrection USA, formerly of Black Lives Matter and Antifa, over last summer. So anyway, he's been charged 18 counts, and a liberal Obama judge let him out of prison just in time for the inauguration, even though there's not going to be one. And I found that very, very disturbing, because not only is he the left, definite left, hates Trump, and is seen on camera on his own stupid YouTube channel or stupid Facebook channel saying how he did this, how he orchestrated it. And the guy from CNN has film of them getting into the Capitol saying, we did it, we did it. Meanwhile, at the same exact time, Trump is still speaking at the ellipse to his supporters. So anyway, a judge let him out, just like they keep letting out all the criminals in New York and in California. And he's out there. But they also caught three other, two Black Lives Matter connected and one Antifa connected. All were at the top rung of organizing the riot, siege. That was a false flag on America and Trump supporters to enact all these lies. So the whole impeachment that they're pulling is another level of treason again. So
hey, Mel, as we wrap up here, I just, it's important people understand that there's going to, we are right now in the fog of war. There's a lot going on. There's going to be a lot of misinformation. How do you think we should kind of look at this right now?
Well, this, I don't think you did ever expect it to be in this situation where retired generals want to talk to me on the phone, so, all I'm saying is there's so many good people that want to get the info out and they can't. And, because I believe that we're right on track. I don't feel nervous at all. After we talked to the National Guard and we left DC, not only was I so proud of the soldiers that I met, they all seem so positive. Like, they really are not acting like what the media is telling us is even close to real. And I felt very relieved. But honestly, I still think God's in control. I never gave up on the military back channel, and I never will until I see General Flynn tell me to. And I fully believe that General Flynn, Chris Miller, The Gainer from FEMA, this great guy that you played earlier running the National Guard, Pompeo and Trump are completely in control. And I also believe that there are many world leaders with them. So what I would say is get ready, because there's a lot of signaling to the emergency broadcast system that we were told about a long time ago on the channel. And if that happens, game on.
Absolutely. I'm waiting.
Me too.
Everyone, order your popcorn
I
and
know.
get
I
ready.
have so much faith in God, more than I ever had, because I know the level of evil that we still aren't allowed to talk about, which is the trafficking, is the biggest part of this puzzle that I know from my own hearing and from all of Trump's executive orders on human and child trafficking and organ trafficking, et cetera, that Trump's biggest goal in being president was to end it. People don't know about it. And I believe he's in alliance with some of the biggest world leaders that right now we don't realize are on our side. And anyway, I'm super excited. We didn't even get to the Rothschild, head of the Rothschild family currently dying or going into hiding, whichever. But that's a big sign that the end is near for the central banking cabal and their partners in the CCP. And oh my God, thanks for playing that in the beginning. All you got to
Wasn't that
hear is
awesome?
military men don't mess up. He said a smooth transition to military power. Yoo-hoo! And that stupid wimp didn't even say, what do you mean military power? Great. So I'm super
All right.
excited.
Patriots, hold the line. Have a
Yeah.
great day.
Oh, and also
Take care of yourself.
we were deplatformed as but I was deplatformed with Trump and Flynn and Sidney Powell, so I feel okay about it. So we know we're starting and getting up and running on the melkshow.com. I'm just learning how to use it, but I'm getting there. Also, we'll be here every day. I am posting on YouTube because they'll probably take me down again. But if they do take me down again, who cares, right? Really? So we'll be here on BitChute no matter what. We will also be on Telegram at the Mel K group. We're having a lot of fun over there.
It's the Mel K Show. It's the Mel K Show group.
Thank God you're here. I mean, last week I'm saying my name on TV. You're like, whoa, what are you doing? You're Mel K. It's hard to remember. So anyway, thank you guys so much. It's so fun. We are witnessing the greatest American Revolution 2.0. And please, God, and all of you, keep faith in yourself. Keep faith in God, and keep faith and be proud of our country, because we are on the precipice of becoming a property of Communist Chinese Party. And at last minute, he pulled the old Trump card.
All right.
Thank you, guys. We will see you later. Thanks.
Thank you all your support, Patriot pals. We will see you soon.
Okay, be back soon, guys. Hang in. It's coming good.